What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode number 96 of the Ridge Hunter Outdoors podcast. We got the full crew tonight for, when's the last time we had everybody here?
I don't even remember.
A good while.
I need a cricket button on this.
Not been long
board.
enough.
Yeah, probably not. Anyways, so this will be number 96. We're going to probably preview the show a little bit tonight that we've been talking about for a while. We got everything kind of set in motion for that, so we're going to be talking some about that. We'll talk about what everybody's got going on picture-wise, or does not have going on picture-wise, what kind of bucks we're looking at for this year or what we're looking to do. I know Mike will talk about your guys' plan too, but before we get into all of that, which I'm sure will be incredibly entertaining, don't forget about our partners for the podcast. The first one being Grandpa Ray Outdoors. They've been with us for as long as anybody. They've been our longest-standing partner. I don't remember when we started with them, but it's been almost 2 years probably now that we've been working with these guys. And if you guys are looking for a new food plot blend to try or anything for whitetail nutrition, Grandpa Ray Outdoors is the place to go. They're going to provide the best nutrition for whitetail deer on your property, starting with the soil. They've got a full line of high-quality food plot seed and plant foods. They were started in 2015, but John's actually been in the business since 1991. They've got over 14 different blends to choose from, and they've actually added some more products as well. Not necessarily blends, but straight seed too. You're not going to have any trouble finding what you're looking for. They've got fall and spring blends, corn and beans, switchgrass, liquid fertilizer, soil test kits. You name it, they've pretty much got it when it comes to food plotting. They're not just about selling their products, though. They're going to answer any questions you have about what blends would be best for your specific property. That way you can achieve the best results possible. Jeff has a comment.
Turn my earphones up, please.
Oh, okay.
I thought you wanted them down.
No, I want them up. There.
Is that
now
better?
I can hear what you're
I
saying.
don't even know what one you're on. But as I was saying,
Here it is, the rest of us.
if you guys are looking for some new seed, we've used Grandpa Ray stuff on our own properties, used it on client properties. I know Nate's got, it's got to be one of the best looking plots around right now. That's a Grandpa Ray blend. If you want to check them out, go to grandparrayoutdoors.com. Use the discount code RHO podcast. That's all lowercase, no space, and you get 5% off your entire order there. We're also a dealer for them, so you can go on their website. If you find something you want, you can order it through us, save some money on shipping that way as well. Our other partner for the podcast is Rodney Hawkins. If you guys are looking for your own piece of ground to manage and hunt, maybe you have a piece of ground you want to get listed on the market, maybe you're just kind of wanting to feel out what's out there, Rodney's going to be the guy to talk to. He grew up in Southern Illinois hunting and fishing, so he's now putting that love for the outdoors and selling recreational properties as a land specialist with Midwest Farm and Land. Now, Midwest Farm and Land isn't your average real estate company. They sold over $85 million worth of ground in 2022 alone. With agents like Rodney all over Illinois, they're really a local company with a national reach. For more info on them or anything that might be available, or again, getting your property listed, you can contact Rodney directly at 618-925-3153, and he'll get you taken care of. He's also got his own company called RHO Outdoors. He's currently got products from Radix Hunting. He's got Tacticam trail cameras, so I know all you guys love those. He's got those. He's your dealer for those. And he's got Camo Dust, which is an all-natural scent elimination product, which we're going to get to try here pretty soon, finally. We've been talking about it forever. We're going to finally get to try it and see if it works for Jeff on those does.
Or the popo. Either way.
Either way. Like we talked about that before.
We did, didn't we?
Yeah. So he's got all that stuff, and he's adding new stuff all the time as well. So if you want to check any of that out, you can go to their Facebook page. It's RG Outdoors. Send them a message through there, or you can send them an email at rgoutdoors@yahoo.com, or again, just call Rodney directly at 618-925-3153. Our social media is Ridge Hunter Outdoors. That's Facebook and Instagram. Those are the two that we use the most. We do have a private Facebook group, RHO Podcast Patrons. I've been saying for months I'm going to come up with a different name for that, and I have not yet. So if anybody has any ideas, I'm all ears. But that's the group.
We got a lot of
Okay. I'm all ears. I'm not saying I'm going to take all the suggestions. But we put some
False
content
advertising.
in. Yeah. We put some content in there that's exclusive to that group, and you guys will have the opportunity to ask guest questions when I can give you enough notice, when I know enough ahead of time to put them in there, and then we'll ask them on the podcast. So you can have some input for the show as well. Ridgehunteroutdoors.com is the website. If you guys find anything on there you like, we're going to have the scents available soon. We've got apparel on there. We've got food plot seed. RHO Pod is the discount code. That's 10% off everything in your first order. If you're listening on Apple Podcast or Spotify, just follow us, leave us a review. That really helps us out. It doesn't cost you a dime. Takes like a whole 2 minutes to do. And then YouTube. That's where our show is going to be at coming up soon. Hopefully the first episode will drop. I haven't decided the day yet, but it'll be like the beginning of the second week of the season probably. So depending on how our first week goes, you'll be looking forward to that. But to stay tuned for that, go to the YouTube channel, Ridge Hunter Outdoors. subscribe to that, hit the notification bell, and you'll be the first ones to know when it comes out. So, all that said, let's get into what is sure to be a great episode, number 96. This is the Ridge Hunter Outdoors podcast. We're currently discussing this new table that we got that Hunter made for us.
Very cool. Very
Out of
cool.
Bottle caps
Did she drink all that?
and a pot, probably.
No.
It's not all alcohol.
I didn't say it was. I just
Icy
asked you.
skis and
impressed.
mostly alcohol.
S'moreski.
Yeah. Anyways,
I'm just saying I'm impressed.
there's a
There's a
Coca-Cola or
Coke.
two
I
on
see
there.
a single Coke.
That's nature representation.
Very good. You know, I'm kind of on a ski kick
Are you?
for real.
So there you go.
You know that?
Like the regular traditional
drink?
ski.
Yeah.
or
you
the
would-
wooden planks.
He's not on any
Ain't going
slopes.
to the Alps.
No.
man.
What? I don't
No
know.
snow skiing, no water skiing for this guy. Just a sody. You know that Ginger Ale's place over in Fairfield?
Yeah.
They say that they got like millions and millions of soda and drink choice flavors, you know.
Oh yeah.
If you get ski with a little bit of orange and a little bit of vanilla in it, it's really good.
Just regular old ski, like the traditional stuff, and you throw some orange.
The
and
Clinton
vanilla.
County stuff. Yeah.
The Clinton County stuff. There
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah.
In Fairfield.
They got it in Fairfield. Yeah.
The home of
Have
the,
you seen that
the
place?
home of the friendly people.
That's
the
what they
friendly,
say.
The friendly people and the mules.
Yeah. Yeah. The
Yeah, okay.
ginger ales. You seen that? You know that place he's talking about.
Yeah.
The green
no,
building?
I don't go to
It's-
Fairfield.
It's over there by the
just,
fairground.
I think I think that was started in Alney. I
Yeah.
think
Local deal.
it's just sodas, and I think they make coffee, but they got like every kind of flavor you can imagine, and I don't know. They'll deliver. I think they deliver to the hospital. I don't know. We get it like every day somehow. I don't know.
It just shows up and you drink it.
2 1/4. I just give somebody 2 1/4, and there it is.
For a sody.
And that's a big
You know,
one.
it's 75 cents at the machine.
That's
up the
well,
street, right?
but they bring it.
Probably $1.
Yeah, it comes right to me. I mean,
That's,
Sir,
that's
there's
probably worth
service fees.
$1.50, right?
yeah. I mean, I look like I would like it to be brought to me.
Touche.
Speaking of that, these Radix stands that we put up today,
Wait, that's not no kind of segue.
I think they're Nate rated.
Yes.
I
How did we
agree.
go from skis to stands?
We didn't. I went from Nate making a comment about him looking like a guy that would want something
stands
brought
for
to him.
ski.
Well, that's true.
You
I
guys are
stand
lost.
corrected.
Anyway, the Radix stand that we put up today, I think is definitely Nate approved.
Yes.
And the sticks were pretty slick too.
Absolutely, the sticks. Yeah, absolutely. The stand.
And they got
as
the
well.
2 straps on them with big straps, so you can
Yep.
put them around a.
I like to comment about the lifeline.
Oh yeah, I
That
got
was-
the lifelines put up too because
Very good.
I'm being better about that this year. I was gonna say too. I got you were at the cabin before and you saw the tree screw-in steps that I had on that.
Yes, I did.
So
I noticed.
I put a lifeline up there for you too,
Excellent.
and we've got sticks now
Excellent.
to get up in there, so you don't got to step on any half-rotten tree limbs or screw-in steps because I know that scared you a
Isn't it
little.
a little oak tree?
It ain't little.
Well, it used to be.
Yeah, that big oak tree.
The big oak tree now?
Yeah, I got 2 sticks on it.
You've always had screw-in steps in there.
Yeah, they're about gone.
The one at the cabin?
It's about swallowed them. Yep. But I've got.
Oh, the one that we saw with the blue tag sticking out, and I was like,
No.
No.
That was a different one.
That's the other. That's the big oak tree.
"Oh, that's the big."
I'm not
oak tree."
hunting that one anymore. It just, yeah, it's too hard to get in and out of without deer seeing you, or
Right.
smelling you, hearing you, in general.
Just letting you know, they
Letting
know
them know
you're
you're
there.
there. Yeah, which generally it's better to not.
Well,
But anyway, that oak tree, yes, I have steps on it now, and we got the Radix stand put up today, and a camera stand there. And I've got another one to put up tomorrow with a camera stand, and then hopefully we're gonna get these blinds. We'll probably talk about them a little bit more as we get going here, and especially when we get on the show. Everybody that's listening will be able to see these new blinds, but I think they're gonna be pretty slick. We got
You was
3 of
talking-
those to get put up.
You was talking about climbing on questionable things.
Let's not go there.
Jeff is in the house.
Talking
Uncle
about
Jeff.
talking about using non-traditional ladders.
Okay.
I didn't need no ladder.
I hunted a set with a guy one time, and I think it was about 20 foot.
Yeah.
I think it might have been a shade higher, but I'm going to say 20. There was 3 screw-in steps over that whole 20 foot. The rest of it was just knot holes and limbs that you climbed.
I'm okay with limbs to a certain point. Not holes I'm out on.
Knot holes, I'm not holes.
Hey, don't knock a hole till you try it.
There's that questionable thing.
Are you seeing this right now?
I see it.
Seeing what?
That there's a spider hanging
Oh,
down.
we
there.
have
I
a-
see that.
We have a
The
new
cleaning lady ain't
a new pet.
He ain't big enough to hurt you.
No.
Well, he ain't not
anymore.
now.
He's flatter.
Yeah. Anyways, so
But yeah, we
3 steps. So I guess
Yeah.
there were 3 spaces where there weren't enough limbs or not holes.
correct.
on it.
That's exactly why the steps were there.
Do I know this person?
Yeah.
Would I guess him on the first try?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
But yeah, that's,
Hey, we had a podcast where they were talking about wooden ladders and such.
Were you here when we talked to Rip about that? Were you on the one we talked to Rip?
Was that?
Rip Dickerson?
I was
From Alabama?
yeah. He was the one that was talking about.
The rickety
Yeah.
old ladders, and his
Yeah.
buddy had put them up, and his dad had hunted at them, blah, blah, blah. He
Yeah.
was like, I ain't never come.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
I was thinking about that as yeah.
yeah, after we talked to him, we talked to Sean Wright on an episode, 93, 4,
Yeah,
something like
whatever.
that. And he was the guy that had those
Oh,
ladders.
no.
He
put up.
admitted,
no.
hey, that's me, man.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a classic.
Yeah. So he was that guy.
Huh.
I would take a wooden ladder over 3 sticks and over 20 feet, though, or 3 screw-in steps, I think.
I don't know. That stand I got down south there, it's only got, what, 4 screw-in steps?
You got a lot of limbs, though. That's in a
I do
pine
have a lot
tree.
of limbs.
He's talking about knot holes.
This was a big nest.
I'm not a mountain climber. I ain't taking chalk to the tree stand with me so I don't fall out on the way up.
This was a big nasty oak tree. It just had a bunch of limbs and them knot holes, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And you just clawed your way up it. And you was happy to see that stand when you got to it.
bet you
know.
were.
Give me something to stand on.
Yeah. You just not look down when you get up there.
No. If I remember right, I mean, you somewhat circled the tree to make it happen, too.
Of course. Why
it,
not?
It wasn't straight up. You had to go up like a bear, you know.
Of course. That would have been too easy.
Yep.
After all that work to get up there, you wouldn't want it easy when you got to the stand.
So all that being said, these days, I really like ladder stands.
Yeah.
I really do.
Hey, though.
I feel nice up there.
Those sticks, they put 4 of them in a pack,
Mm-hmm.
and we talked to the guy that runs the joint, and he said the idea is, and they're 4-foot sticks, so it's not a mobile setup. It's not like a run and gun setup. But if you're
Yeah.
going to put a stand up and leave it, like a lot of private guys are, private ground hunters are, 4 sticks, they're 48 inches, so you can get to 20 feet on your platform, like the one we hung today is probably 17, 18 even.
Yeah.
And we were being I was being fairly conservative with the space I put between the steps, and you can get up over it on the sticks and step down into the stand like you want to do,
Yeah.
which is just, I mean, that's a heck of a lot safer, and it's a lot easier.
I don't know. We went old school last week.
Unless somebody above you is cutting limbs, and then one falls on your head, and you say, oh, what? Look out.
Heads up.
Yeah, heads up.
Yeah.
I tried.
Last week we used a TV antenna.
I've got a lot of antennas, and I like them a lot.
Those are just, I mean, those work.
We had a 20-foot, or I had a 20-foot TV antenna. We
You know,
threw
they
it-
ain't going nowhere. They're sturdy.
Yeah, we threw it up against a tree, strapped it in, hung two hang-ons off, one on each side, camera stand and hunting
Used
stand.
them a lot. I'm sure a lot of people have used those a lot.
Yeah, they work, and they're a lot. They're
If you got them around,
if you got them around, if you can
Yeah.
find them and they ain't rusted in two.
you're right.
Yep.
Right. But yeah, they 20 foot tall.
Yeah, it's 20 foot tall.
Yep. And we threw up a couple of new stands that you got in there and got you guys set up for camera hunting like we're trying to do.
Capturing some large
observation.
deer on there, ain't we, Jeff?
Absolutely.
large. And
Yeah, you
in
got
charge.
your target buck there the other day.
Yes, I do.
He's not quite as big as the one you shot last year.
Not
the way
quite
I
as big.
understand it. If you guys,
Practically a unicorn.
His nads are bigger than his horns. I'll put it that way.
if you guys, that's all Jeff's been talking about. If you guys are unaware,
Well, that's the only picture I got of
Maybe
him.
his nads are bigger than his horn too.
like me,
You went there. I did not.
I didn't say a
Yeah,
word.
you started it.
No, I just say his nads was bigger than his horns.
That's a start.
Yep, this is pretty much where I thought this would go. 15 minutes in.
Did it take that long?
I
Oh,
was
you took up
surprised.
10 of them for the intro. So.
Well, I got to take care of our partners.
Daggum near exactly 15 minutes, right?
That's what I said. I would have put the money line on 10.5.
Take the over and under.
Yeah,
Over or
not
under.
money line, but yeah, the over under at 10.5.
Anyway.
Yeah, so he's slightly smaller than the buck you shot last year. But now at the southern, are we calling that the Pine Farm? What
Yeah,
are we calling
sure,
it?
that
We'll go
sounds
with the
good.
Pine Farm because we're gonna have something so people can understand what we're talking about.
It'll
from
be the
show,
Pine Farm till they'll all get here in a couple of years.
from the show to the podcast.
There'll be the Not No More Pine Farm.
yeah. So we'll call
the
it the
pine clearing.
You have had experience with that, correct?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, okay.
So we'll call it the Pine Farm.
Just checking.
Anyways, we're at that farm, like the buck you shot last
Yes.
year. You're meat hunting at that place.
Yes.
And now, are you going to be doing the same thing at where we hung the new set the other day? Or are you looking for does and mature bucks? Is that going to be kind of your mature buck setup
Well, I kind of
around the home farm there?
Okay, in all seriousness, I mean, really, I am. I'm being serious right here at this point. I got a friend that's never been deer hunting before, and she's, got a thing going on personally and health wise.
Mhm.
So she's never been deer hunting before. She wants to go deer hunting and shoot a deer, and she asked me if I'd take her, and I said yes, I will. So that kind of lit a new spark in me for deer hunting because now I'm doing more scouting and more look, not for myself, but for her because I want to see her succeed. And so, yeah, I'm myself and just going to start out meat hunting, but at the same time, I'm also looking for something that, that might appeal to her.
A deer that you can get her on to.
Yes, a deer that she can get on. And that's just kind of, I don't know, it's just inspired me and made me more interested in it this year than what I have been in years past. Because in years past, all I want to do is just fill my freezer.
Mm-hmm.
I've said in podcasts before, I got done with the horn hunting.
Mm-hmm.
It turned into a job where I wasn't enjoying it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I quit hunting for a while. Now I'm just out there to enjoy it. And if I shoot a doe, I shoot a doe. If I shoot like last year, I shot a little, 5-pointer.
Yeah, fork with brow tine.
Yeah,
a brow
about
tine.
about 2-year-old 5-pointer.
I'd say a year old, but yeah.
Well, whatever. It's my story.
He ate
I'll
the
say-
same, didn't he?
Yeah, he still ate the same.
Tomato,
You know,
tomato.
yeah, and it was getting down to the wire for me.
Mhm.
As far as when Scott said I couldn't hunt no more. So
Okay, that stopped you before.
yeah,
Right?
well, So, anyways, but yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I personally, I'm going to pop a few does if I can. My main goal is to fill up my freezer because I don't want none of this fake lab meat and stuff that they're supposedly making and this, that, and the other. I want to know where my meat comes from. That's where I've always been.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the same time while I'm doing that, I'm going to be scouting and trying to look for something that maybe I can put her on also.
That's actually something that we've been talking about with guests a lot lately too. Is I've kind of been trying to make it a point to everybody that we talk to has been kind of on the same page, but like hunt for your own reasons, whether like you're saying, whether it be for just to be out there enjoying it or filling a freezer or doing it to get somebody else their first deer, whatever it is, you should hunt for your own reasons and then be happy when you achieve or even don't whatever you're trying to do. Like even if you don't kill something, if you're hunting to be out there for the experience and to enjoy it and because you like being out there in the woods on a crisp November morning or October morning, then maybe you don't even have to kill anything, and that's a win for you. Which
right.
is
And ever since I gave up the pursuit of the horns, the big bucks and big score and Boone and Crockett and all that stuff, ever since I gave that up, I don't care if I kill it. If I don't kill a deer, big deal. I was out there. I wasn't at work. I was out there enjoying creation and having peace and quiet and just enjoying nature all on its own. I mean, would I like to kill a big buck? If a 170-inch walks in front of me, guess what? I'm going to give it a shot. I'm not going to say I'm going to kill him,
right.
but I'm going to at least try.
Well, you look at me for it.
But because you always tell me I'll freeze up.
Oh,
But
But that goes back to what we're saying. Like, everybody's got their own reasons. Because, like, on this side of the table, we're trying to get out there and kill the most mature deer on our respective farms, I feel like.
We're not on your level yet, Jeff.
well, I'm not.
ain't nobody
on the
on
level.
Jeff's level.
Yeah. But at the same time, I'm similar to you in the fact that I just enjoy being out there. And if I don't kill one, I think with the show, the new show, there will be a little bit of, like, maybe pressure built into that to shoot something to put on the show. But I still think it's going to be a lot of fun.
No, I'm
Because we're going to get
I'm
to
just
hunt.
going to shoot nanny goats.
Yeah, we're going to get to hunt together a lot, and I think that's going to be fun.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
as a group, and the couple guys that are helping us out too.
Yeah.
We haven't done that much even since we started the podcast. And I know you guys hunt together a little bit, but we've hunted together a couple times. But to me, that's as fun as anything too, is being able to hunt with somebody and even just sitting in the same tree. And if you don't see anything, you can bull crap and.
We have so many stories we can't tell.
Exactly. And that's where that comes
It's a good
from.
thing there wasn't a camera back then.
Oh, my Lord.
But at the same time, I'm still, like I said, out there trying to kill the biggest
Yeah.
most mature buck on the farm.
Yeah.
PETA would be after us.
They'd have to get in line.
Plus every other alphabet named organization. So
Jeff said, like, you can burn yourself out if you put so much pressure on yourself to kill that big buck, And I've been there before, and you just get disgusted, and you're like, why am I doing this, But you put that pressure on yourself, it ain't put on you by nobody else.
Right.
Shouldn't be.
Yeah.
I done that when I run the bow shop.
Yeah.
I felt like I had to be. I didn't feel like I had to necessarily kill the best and the biggest deer, but I had to be up there
With the group.
I own the shop. I'm the guy they come to to fix their bows,
Yeah.
to answer all their questions. I'm that guy, and so I put a lot of pressure on myself back in the day.
Yep.
And I'm up there. I remember the morning I was up there. I remember where I was hunting at, and actually the stand I was in, and I am freezing my rear end off. I mean, it's cold, and I'm thinking, and I get up there, and I'm thinking, why am I here? This is not fun.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not having a good time.
Yeah.
I went because I felt I had to. I got down out of the stand, and I never did it again. I never went because I felt like I had to. I always went when I wanted to.
Yeah.
There's times that I just didn't want to.
Yep.
For no reason. I mean, somebody asked me to go, or it was maybe that perfect morning. I didn't want to go. I didn't go.
Yeah.
So I don't have that pressure anymore. I got rid of that crap, and I have a lot. I'm like Jeff. I have a lot more fun now.
Yeah.
I'm not likely going to be that guy to kill that 180-inch deer, but I don't really care.
Yeah.
I
distinctly remember a morning, just like you're saying. I was tired of it. I was fed up. I think I was in about day 9 or 10 of a 2-week vacation, and it just, nothing was happening like I thought it should. It was the rut, and other guys are saying, oh, man, this is what I'm seeing, this is what I'm seeing. I'm like, I'm just seeing a spike come out here, and rub on this fence post every night, like I ain't seeing nothing. And so I slept in that one morning. Doggone, what do you think was on my camera at the stand I would have went to that morning, about 30 minutes after daylight. And I thought, you know what, I got to go. But I've been there many times. I put the pressure on myself, and when you do that, it ain't even fun no more.
Yeah.
If it ain't fun anymore, you might as well just stop.
Yeah.
We'll find a different reason to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah.
We shouldn't put that pressure on ourselves.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, I want to be out there to have fun now.
Yeah.
I had a great time back when we run the shop. Good friend of mine was carrying the mail, and he always took 2 weeks vacation, and that was when my dad was still around, and so he could run the store and all that, and we'd get up every morning, and by that 12th day, man, if there's 2 spots of rain hit a brick, we're done. We're like union bricklayers, man. That's going to rain. We're done. But we always had a good time, and it wasn't pressure then.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we got up. Well, I had a reason to get up. He had a reason to get up. We were going to go somewhere. We were going to have a good time and all that. And so that's different. That wasn't really pressure. But
Yeah.
when you're out there on your own thinking, I've got to kill something,
Mm-hmm.
that's not fun.
But I will circle back. I want to kill a big buck.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, we all
I'll get
do.
back there. That's what
Yeah, but see, we're saying like
I'm trying to set up for that.
Circle back.
Exactly.
What?
I'm still-
Wait a minute.
That's our-
Where about that's political or something. Isn't it?
I retract that statement.
You
Back
bet.
on track. Back on
You're
track.
not, you're not redheaded, right?
Back on track. I am out there trying to set up
Right.
To kill that big buck.
right. Like that's the reason we're
Doing what we're doing.
pretty much
Doing things the way
doing
we're
the
doing.
things the way we're doing. And I am guilty of putting that pressure on myself sometimes too, just from running the consulting side of things. Because we've had this conversation before. You look at other guys that do it that have all these great big deer, and people think because they have those big deer, well, they must know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I feel confident that I know how to help people get on big deer and set their property up to do it, even though I don't have 4 200-inch deer on the wall.
But
You know
the
what I
big
mean?
deer's got to be there too.
Exactly. You have to have the we talk about that a lot. Like you can't kill a 200-inch deer if they're not there.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I feel like I have that pressure a little bit too. But I never let it get to the point where I don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because like I'm the same way. If I get like last year in late October into early November, there's a couple mornings where I was thinking, yeah, I'll go tomorrow morning. Really need to go, partially because like for a work thing. But I was tired and I didn't go. Now there was a couple mornings where I had deer on my camera that I would have went and would have sat in that stand.
Yeah.
One of them was November 7th. I looked at the weather. Mom asked if I could take her to her doctor's appointment to drive her there. And
Yeah, she still brings that up today, by the way.
I looked it up and I thought, well, it's going to be like 75 degrees. It'll be fine. I'll take you. All morning, those deer were running literally one direction and back the other in front of my stand. The big shed buck that I got out there, he went by at like 7:30 and came back by at like noon. And then the other big 9 that I was hunting there last year, I say big 9, 140. He same thing, ran by at like 8 in the morning and then came back by later in the day. And it was like, but I feel like if I was putting that much pressure on myself, I would have let that just eat me up, and I'd have been so fed up and mad. But I wasn't. I was like, I'll get on them sometime.
Yeah.
I'll shoot them and not find them. I mean, that's what happened last year.
There's another reason to get down too.
yeah, that was a little rough, but hopefully we don't have that issue this year.
Yep.
If we do, though, everybody will get to see it.
Oh man.
Because and I guess somewhat, if you guys followed along with the vlog, I tried to do some of that last year. You could have kept up with it a little bit, but that got me down a little bit for a while. I don't think I went hunting again until the second week of December after the last one.
Man, that's rough.
And part of that was gun season because it was the day before shotgun opened up. And then the other part of it was I just shot.
Yeah, we know.
I just shot 2 big deer in the same week and didn't find any one of them. But again, this year, if that happens, you guys will get to see it on Fall Pursuit, which is the show by Ridgehunteroutdoors. That'll be on YouTube. It'll be a YouTube-based show that we're going to do. I mentioned on the last podcast I was going to start putting out like digital stuff for that this week. It wasn't quite finished yet. Hunter's been crazy busy in her shop, so I'm just kind of waiting on her to get stuff put together. And I think she's finally got it, so I'm going to put out, I guess, the logo for that soon and kind of let you guys know. We'll try to hammer out a day for when we're going to release it. I got to figure out what's going to be work best for everybody getting to hunt and edit and get it posted and all that. But anyway, that's coming up soon too. I know. Hopefully we'll get to hunt together some, especially when you're on your vacation.
Yes.
And then Blake's going to help out a little bit maybe, and we can maybe get him on some deer. And when he's on some deer, get in a tree with him with the camera. Deer. I know he's getting some daylight pictures.
Yep.
Which is, I've got one daylight picture right now. I don't know if you've seen I know you had that big, of course you had your typical big 4.5+ year old 8-point that you always have every year.
Yeah.
Seems like one fills the void after the other one leaves.
Oh my gosh. It's like the playground bully. You think they graduate, like 8th grade or whatever. Nah, like there's another one. Sometimes 2.
Right.
I mean, they just keep materializing.
Yep.
So,
Shoot 'em.
yep.
Shoot them.
That's always a possibility.
Get rid of
I
'em.
would love for Kaylee to get to shoot one of these things.
Why wouldn't you shoot them and let her shoot something bigger?
there, to my knowledge, there's not anything bigger. I've had 12 cameras on that 100 acres for a while, and they're just nothing.
Are they normally there by now?
So the only holdout that I got is all the corn that's around us. There's so much corn this year. Everything's corn. There ain't beans within 3/8 of a mile back there in any direction.
Mm-hmm.
It's just all corn all around it. So hopefully they're out there messing around in them waterways and them corn patches, and then that gets shelled and everything gets stirred up. But there's going to be so much food for them out there if these guys ain't got their combines set good. You know?
If they're running gleaners.
That never happens.
There's going to be corn out there everywhere, you know.
Yeah.
Ain't as much corn as there used to be.
No.
They're pretty clean anymore,
Yeah.
ain't they? Yeah, because like when I was shelling the other day, I was out looking, you know.
You weren't running out the back end on purpose, were you?
No.
Most of what you see now is header loss,
Yeah, stuff making it.
where
No,
it shatters when it hits the head.
yep, not making it through,
Yeah.
getting flipped out and stuff. And like what I was shelling this week, or whatever day it was, there was a bunch knocked down, and some of it was flat enough I couldn't get it picked back up. You know, I mean, I was running them snouts on the ground; it just you couldn't pick it up. You know, so it's just gonna be out there. But anyway,
You are to see the cornfield by the north end of my property.
is it down?
Oh, yeah, but it ain't because of wind or green snap or anything like that.
Yep,
And that farmer's going to be paying me to shoot some deer, I'm telling you.
yep.
They have annihilated it.
But yeah, when all this corn comes out, I'm hoping that things will change for me. I got pictures of one deer, two bucks that I have. I know I've had pictures of them last year. The one is very underwhelming compared to what I was hoping he would be.
Yeah, I forgot about that one already.
Are
You think you're pretty sure that's him?
Yeah, I don't know what else it could be.
Yeah.
He's so similar. From his G2s in, he's the exact same as he was last year, just heavier.
Yeah.
You know, but from his G2s out, last year he's a 6x5. This year I think he's a 6x4. I think he's got like a twin tine for a 3 on the right. But he's very underwhelming. I mean, I don't know that he grew like any.
Right.
Because honestly, he looks like he's even shorter this year than he was last year. And
Yeah.
he wasn't tall last year.
No, he was pretty short.
But he's heavy.
Yeah.
You know. And then I think I got one picture I didn't even show you. He's a similar looking buck. He's a similar looking buck.
To that one?
Yeah. He looks like he's just wider. But their brow ties definitely look different. But then the picture I sent you this morning is that real grainy, blurry thing.
Yeah.
That's very enticing.
Yeah, he looks pretty good.
Yep. He
Typical zoomed in iPhone photo,
Yeah.
but from that he looks good.
Yeah. He's standing there and he looks like me. He looks like he just left the breakfast place. He's standing there looking at you, you know. But he's definitely a mature deer. But over there where that thing's staying, there's just little patches everywhere, like 1 to 2 acre patches of woods along creeks, you know, just little thin spots,
They
white
got
spots.
a lot of places to go.
Yeah.
It's a lot like Kansas.
Oh, man. Yeah. Home.
Yeah. 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 What are we talking about? It is Kansas.
That's where the heart is.
But
Something
yeah,
like that.
I'm very interested in that. But I don't know if I'll actually be able to do anything with him because, I mean, it's just like one small step up from fence row hunting.
Yeah.
You know, trying
Right.
to mess with them little patches.
Yeah, and that's tough even with your wind and access and all that because they can see you
Yeah.
coming from about anywhere. And
Oh yeah, I'd have to get in the ditch like
Yeah.
a quarter mile away and get permission to cross the neighbor to get in, you know, and just hope I can get in the edge of it and do something,
right.
you know.
Yep.
But it's really not realistic, but I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I just started running cameras this week, and I got one buck that I think is a holdover from last year that I showed you pictures of him in March where he looked real bad, still holding his antlers and wasn't even sure if he was going to make it. And I think it's the same one he made it. He's a nice deer. He's a shooter for sure, unless the other one that I got video of on the YouTube channel last year shows back up. Spencer, big 6x6, tall, not real heavy last year. Huge brow tines lengthwise, but he was all busted up pretty early last year, probably because Ghost was beating up on him because you didn't see him around the same time very often. But if he's back, that's maybe the only reason I wouldn't shoot that one, and I still might, just depending on what shows up on the at the cabin. If that one shows back up there, he was killable last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'll be 5.5 this year too, though, so he might change a little bit. But I'm holding out hope for him because, again, I haven't run cameras that long. I've got a couple of little bucks there at the cabin, a couple young bucks there at the North Farm too, along with the one from last year. I don't have a name for him yet. I'll have to come up with something. But there at the cabin, he didn't show up till late October, early November last year either.
Mm-hmm.
So, but he stayed there for a long time, obviously, because he dropped the shed. And the odds of him dropping it on 10 acres, if he's not staying there a lot, are pretty slim. So
you're right.
I figure he's got to be in that area. And hopefully I'm going to have a little bit of food.
Yeah.
I just went and replanted some wheat and oats over the brassica plots that I'd planted that didn't get any rain. Shocker. So hopefully I'll have some food for him, but I'm looking forward to those guys. I know Jeff's got a pretty decent buck that we talked about. You didn't know whether you'd shoot him or not.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like for her to get a shot at him. You know, if he shows up in front of me, it'd be probably hard for me to pass. But you know, I'm just gonna leave it at that. I got another one in mind that I like better, but I haven't seen him on camera since August, so I don't really know where he's at or where he's going. I haven't found him yet. I'm sure he's going to show back up since he was there back then, but, you know.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean,
at some point, maybe during the rut. It seems like, especially there around the home farm for you, it seems like a lot of times they'll use that woods. They come back to it and circle around during the rut and check your does.
It's kind of like a little hub or whatever for that area right there.
They come through and scent check it.
You just got to be there at the right time. Yeah. But yeah, I've got one for sure that I'd like to see on the hoof in person, you know. And actually, I'd like to take a stab at him, but I don't know what he'll score. I ain't even going to try to guess because the only picture I got of him was in velvet.
Right.
And they look 3 times bigger in velvet than they really are when they're hard horned. But
yeah, a lot of times, especially because not only because their velvet makes them look bigger, but generally their bodies are their necks are smaller and everything. Perspective changes, but that's something too that you mentioned about not knowing what he scored too. Like I think a lot of people get wrapped up in scoring the deer, and then like say you shoot a deer that you think was 160 something, and he ends up going 150, and then you're disappointed. Like that's still a really nice deer, and
that
if
ain't nothing to be upset about.
No, if you were happy when you shot him, you ought to be happy when you put the tape to him, or don't put the tape to him. You know,
and that reminds me of one of the biggest deer I ever shot. Me and Joe Coy was out hunting together. This been several years ago when we worked together on the farm, and he wanted to go hunting with me, so I took him hunting. We got his side by side out. You know, he had this brand new side by side. He's going to show me, you know, all this. He's going to do all kinds of big things. So we went down there to the river hunting, and I set up in my place. He went on downstream a little ways. Well, I'm sitting there, and I'd been watching shows on hunting up in Saskatchewan and stuff, you know, where they got these big bodied deer.
300-pound deer.
Yeah, and they're like, man, that's a 170-inch deer. And it looked like 130, you know, on the body size. So I'm up there in my stand, and man, all of a sudden, here comes this big old buck, and he was mature. I mean, he was a 6.5-year-old buck. Big old huge body on him. I kept looking at him. I was like, man, his rack looks small. But I had that in my mindset about, like, well, maybe his body makes his rack look small. So I shot this dude. He piled up about 30 yards from me.
Just like old Rut Daniels.
No, Rut's is 20.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Mine's 30. Yeah. But
didn't go 30. It didn't have the same ring.
Yeah, well, no, it doesn't. But anyways, he piled up, and I texted Joe and said, hey, I got one down. He's like, really? I ain't seen nothing. I'm like, yeah, I got one down. Well, I'll get down. I'm like, Joe, you still got, you know, an hour of hunting light. No, I ain't seen nothing. I'll come down and help you get it. So he fired. I heard the old side by side fire up. I hadn't even got down out of my tree stand yet. I get down out of my tree stand. Joe shows up about the same time. And we get to looking at it. And I was like, that deer's rack ain't as big as I thought it was.
Yeah.
You know, but the thing about it is and Joe was a big old boy back then. You know, he's gotten soft now since he's been married and farming and
right.
politicking and everything else, but it was all me and him could do to get that deer up in the back of his side-by-side. And then we couldn't get it up the levee. We had to go up the levee in reverse because the deer weighed so much it about flipped side-by-side over going up forwards.
If you'd just put Joe on the front of it.
Well, Joe was in the driver's seat.
Well, I mean, put him on the brush card. Balance it out.
Yeah. But anyways, we finally got that deer in my house, and I don't know what the deer weighed. I didn't have no scales. I know he only taped about 123. But
About.
yeah, I mean, it was he wasn't no Pope and Young.
It was about 123 3/8, give or take.
I stretched it out. I had stretched tape. He wasn't no Pope and
You're
Young
used
deer.
to doing that anyway.
But you know, he was.
I always wad my tape up. I mean,
Yeah, well,
I don't stretch it.
but out of all the deer that I've got mounted on the wall, I had him shoulder mounted, and he is by far the biggest bodied deer I have ever killed in my life.
Yeah. Basically
And-
one of those deer like what you have show up every year.
So I wasn't really that upset about the score because I knew that I had killed a big old huge mature deer.
And that's something to be excited about.
It was.
Oh, for sure.
It was. I was more excited about the age and just the bulkiness of that deer than I was about his horns.
Yeah, that's why I kind of said that earlier about like we're trying to kill the most mature buck.
Yeah.
Not to say if I had a 4.5-year-old that was 170 and a 5.5-year-old that was 130, I wouldn't target the 4-year-old, but like generally the most mature buck's the one I want to kill because like you're saying, they're generally the hardest ones to kill.
Yeah.
You got to win that chess match with them.
Yeah.
You got to do things right and get lucky
Yeah.
together. Like you have to have all that working for you to get on them most of the time.
Yep. Whoever's king in the area.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah, that's who I want.
Yep. Then, you know, even that, a lot of times it isn't even the guy that's the most dominant because some of those deer don't have that personality, for lack of a better word. Like you may get a...
There's that too.
Yeah. But definitely the oldest one's been around the longest.
Yeah.
That probably could whoop any of the ones they wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
One of the last years that I hunted with my compound, I was getting pictures there at the farm. He was just a forkhorn. So it was. He had main beams probably about 23, 24 inches long. No brow tines. And I guess you'd call them his G2s.
Right.
You know, and he's about 12 inches tall. But he was a bruiser, and he knew he was. And I watched him out there about 150 yards just kick a 150 10-pointer all over that place. And when he walked out into the cornfield, the rest of the bucks scattered. And I wanted him bad. And
So-
I never did get a shot at him.
I heard something interesting about that the other day because I forget who was talking about it. I wish I could remember who was on the podcast I was listening to now. It might have been Mark Drury. But they were talking about how a lot of times those big bully bucks that you see are like 8-pointers or 6-pointers or even like in your case a forkhorn. And why that is, like, do they have the little man syndrome kind of thing? But what he kind of thought, like his theory on it was...
What do you think, Jeff?
That deer wasn't little.
Well, the theory was
Just
that...
because you got a big stick or a little stick doesn't mean you can't be mean.
Okay, I was just checking the theory.
Well, the theory, I ain't got to it yet. The theory was that the bucks are naturally that way, like that's the way they act. Like they want to fight all the time. So because of that, they're always beat up and they're always stressed out. And by the end of the year, they've fought so much and worried about running off bucks so much, ran all over the place, that their body's so stressed that, like we talked about before, the nutrition is going towards rebuilding their health rather than antler growth, and then they don't ever end up reaching their full potential of antler growth because basically they're that bully buck that just wants to run around and fight everything instead of putting all that, you know, instead of having less stress and growing antlers, they're so stressed out from trying to fight everybody that they never really reach their full antler potential, which makes sense. Like I don't think there's ever any scientific studies on that, but it would make sense to me.
I read an article that parallels that exactly, but completely the opposite, about a guy looking at elk. Years ago, he's writing specifically about bull elk. But I remember reading this years ago, like just out of high school. I was at the hog barns. So like we always had magazines up there to read, you know. when we take
I bet you did.
He said read, not look at.
Oh,
when we take breaks.
that's all anybody does is read the articles.
Tomato, tomato.
Sure they do.
But this one guy specifically talking about elk, he termed them shirker bulls, and he said that he felt like there was bulls that just chose to not participate in the rut, but he said that he felt like
I know a few people like that myself. They don't call them shirker bulls.
They call us old.
No,
undesirable.
Never mind. Yeah.
I wasn't
It's
gonna,
above your pay grade.
I wasn't going to get political with it.
Right.
But yeah, this guy he I think that's what he called them, was shirker bulls. But he said that these things chose to not participate in the rut. They was just happy living and eating and doing their own thing and being comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And he said those things he felt like were not stressing their bodies out. They were not using all of their nutrition that they took in for maintaining their body. They had extra all the time. And he said he felt like those things grew these big freak monster racks,
Mm-hmm.
and those were the ones that you see in the pictures and end up in the books.
I guess that's the reason I'm 6'1" instead of 6'5".
Yeah, I imagine that's what it is.
Yeah, that's probably it.
You're a fighter.
Yeah,
Call it what you want.
that's what we'll go with.
But yeah, he said that he thinks that there was, for whatever reason, the bulls, bucks, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't rut hard, they ain't gonna get too wore down.
Well, that goes to what we've read in articles before on the podcast and talked about, and I've heard people talk about, like with your buck to doe ratio. If you have a 5 does to 1 buck, that buck's trying to breed 5 does for every buck out. They're trying to breed as many as they can.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to stretch the rut out, and they're that much more stressed because they're trying to breed that many more does. And then that all leads into less antler growth. Whereas if you have a shorter, more high-intensity rut, it's easier to hunt because you have the peak that's predictable and you can get on them at the right times. And also, they're less stressed out for a longer period of time, so they end up growing bigger antlers the next year instead of having to replace all that nutrition.
Yeah.
But so that makes a lot of sense. But anyway, that was just like what you were talking about with that buck. It reminded me of that. I think it was Drury that was talking about it.
And maybe he was just trying to compensate for his smaller stature and horns. I mean, you don't know.
Yeah, that's probably not it, but it's probably
Well, you don't know. It could be.
I never asked one. Kind of like what we were talking about with deer seeing the other day or something, what colors they see. Like, we just assume. We've never really asked one and had them tell us.
How would you know?
That's exactly. If you were listening instead of dying over there.
I'm listening.
Yeah.
I told you it's the reason I'm 6'1" instead of 6'5".
Yeah, that's.
I've been rutting too hard my whole life.
I'm not 6'5".
Sure it
I'm
is.
only
There's
6'4".
Why did you think I meant you?
I know what you
did not
waving
know.
your hand over here.
You
at
did
me.
not know.
You remember what I said about talking about a camera crew following them around?
Yeah.
When they're. Yeah, never mind. Anyways, you got anything else to add before we crash this boat?
Yeah, that train done derailed.
We're not landing this plane either. We're crashing this plane.
Fastest way to the ground.
Oh,
Yep.
I was going to say, I know that you were kind of bragging on it today about the app from the cameras and the new Radix cameras that we're running too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've got 2 of those out now, and I know you've had several of them
Mm-hmm.
and had them last year too. I've been thoroughly impressed with those as well. The pictures they're taking, the quality, I don't think they're missing much.
Mm-hmm.
And the app is right up there with the rest of them, I think.
Mhm.
And the options, the stuff you can do on it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have no complaints.
Mm-hmm.
I need at least one more.
Mm-hmm. The only complaint is you don't have enough of them.
That's right.
Yeah.
What Larry Potterfield always say on his Midway USA commercils.
Yeah.
What's one more gun or
How many pairs of
Thank you for
boots
your
would one
business.
man need?
Yeah.
Just one more pair.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Yep. So, anyways, you had something you want to add before we get out of here?
Food plots are
We didn't
kind
get
of all
get
over
into
the
that.
board with the water situation.
But yours, I did kind of mention that, and when we were
Yes.
talking about Grandpa Ray, is looking as good as any of them I've seen
So
that haven't been watered by a person.
I was very surprised. I went back there to mow just a little bit. I pulled around the corner. I saw that, and I was like, wow,
'Cause that
what
was-
happened here?
That's generally pretty dry, right?
Very dry. That's full sun. Yeah. That hilltop.
Did you fertilize that?
Yeah. But didn't water it, I got stuff that's got better soil than that.
Yeah. And you had that blend in there too last year, which that particular blend, Fall Draw, it puts back into the soil, where some blends will take nutrients out and you have to replace them. That actually replaces nutrients in the soil. It doesn't really rob the soil of many of nutrients. And it breaks up the compaction in it too with the roots and stuff. But anyway.
Yeah, I was very happy with it. I got to get a cell camera on it. I took down the camera, the card camera that's on there. I'm buying a cell camera. I got to get it up.
Yeah.
Then 2 patches of Elite look pretty good.
Yeah.
1 patch is kind of questionable, but it doesn't get the sun that it probably needs.
Okay, so that's not the Lone Oak patch or whatever we're calling it.
It's looking pretty good.
That looks good. Good.
That lone tree's looking pretty good.
Yeah.
Those beans are finishing out pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have wheat, oats, something flown on by drone, scattered out there
over your beans.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I'm gonna have that way there's green underneath those beans. Just as soon as they start turning, I think is when I want that done.
Yep.
That way light can finally get down. The 3.5 acres of beans is doing good. The 2 acre patch of beans just destroyed.
Is it really?
Oh my gosh, annihilated.
You need to shoot some does.
Yeah. But I mean, that's what they're there for, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the beans have done their job.
Are you gonna do the same thing with those? You're gonna fly on stuff over
absolutely.
them?
Yeah. But
otherwise you won't have anything.
Yeah. But I need to spray that and really get that ready.
Yeah.
And try to make that good.
Yeah.
And then the sprout patch is looking, I think, better than it did this time last year. Even.
No kidding.
Everything's small, but there's a great standout there.
Because it turned out really good last year, I felt like.
Yeah. I mean, it got better later last year.
Yeah.
But I think it's really doing good this year. But again, everything except for that little north plot is doing very well. I don't think that north plot gets the sun that it needs for the Elite that
That's
I put
the one
out
me
there.
and you hunted. You come in the draw, park along the road, and come in the draw, or no?
We went to the west side.
Okay.
Yeah, we went over there.
Is the north plot where you had the wide 10 come in?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm with you now.
We walked
That's
in
on
there.
the opposite side, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we walked in there and checked the camera.
Yep.
Last year, and you're like, I think I like this spot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. It could be better, but it's okay.
Yeah.
And I still think it's going to be good.
That Elite is a very clover-based blend.
Mm-hmm.
So
and alfalfa in it.
Yeah.
That needs sun.
Yeah.
That don't like shade.
But for first year, I mean.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Should
No
be okay.
complaints. No complaints whatsoever. Like half of that plot is shaded.
Yeah.
At all times. It's
Right.
on the north side of the woods. Half of that plot is shaded at all times. So I mean, I can't have super high expectations for that.
Yeah, generally clover is, they say 4 hours of sun a day, roughly, which you're saying half of that probably doesn't get that.
No, not a chance. But
And with the leaves come off, though, that was what was interesting about the plot in Jeff's Wood last year in the middle, is I planted stuff, went in and replanted the inner sanctum, and when the leaves started falling off, the kale and the clover started growing because it was finally getting sunlight.
Yep.
And the soil was still warm enough that it could germinate, but it ended up not making a bunch because I think the deer ate what was there, and then it was a little late for it to continue growing, but
yeah.
it was just so shaded back there now. It's finally starting, the canopy's starting to close again.
Oh, it's getting closed, ain't it?
Yeah, so.
Time to log.
I think we'll probably just leave that alone for a while. Like, 30, 40 years.
Probably not a bad idea.
I'm just guessing.
Yep. Anybody else got anything to add? I forgot to even mention that we're going to try to do this every year. This is kind of, obviously Full Draw Friday didn't come out. If it lands like this again next year, then it'll probably be the same way. But we'll do a October 1st, like season opener episode. We always do our end of the year campfire. So we'll call this our beginning of the year episode, season kickoff, October 1 episode for the season. So I'm excited about this year. I got
First day fish fry. That's what it was.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, we did.
We did fried up some fish.
That was good fish.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll try to do this every year. It's kind of become a Ridge Hunter tradition, I guess, like our end of the season campfire. And
I'm for it.
we can get together and look forward to the season, especially now that we got the show. I think it's going to be fun to get in here and talk about it. And then I want to try to get all 4 of us in a little more often once we start recording. That way we can talk about whatever happens on the show. But everybody listening, be on the lookout for that coming up. It's Fall Pursuit by Ridge Hunter Outdoors. It will be on our Ridge Hunter Outdoors YouTube channel. So that's where you can find it. That's why I said earlier you need to subscribe to that channel so you guys can see it when it does come out. I'm looking forward to it. Season overall. I'm pretty excited for it. We need some colder weather, but it'll get here soon enough. So
yeah.
Anybody else got anything before we get out of here?
Everybody be safe, have fun.
Wear your harnesses.
Yep.
Yeah. About as good as anything that I could leave it with.
Yep.
All right. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.